flock have to do sifting, right? There's a level of sifting that we're doing, right? So if people come in, they hear the word, we tell them the word, we kind of like gauge on how they receive the word, and we do that sifting, right, to see if they're of the flock of the sheep or not, right?
Yeah.
Of the fold,
Which like a point even today, I was into that word like the sifting, going into to discern,
yep.
Okay, which I'm gonna just show it real quick because this is good because we, as prophets and men of the Lord,
right? It's like
go ahead.
I didn't want to get that brother's precept that he called it, but like back here, like in this time, they knew that they were real like Assyrians, right? That they weren't part of the nation of Israel, so they had no place here. But nowadays, right? A modern day Assyrian, he might actually be an Israelite, and we have to kind of try him and try his faith through these scriptures and through these precepts, right?
Right.
And that kind of goes back into what we've been talking about this whole time about the Gentiles and the but like I was saying before, like they were never given that opportunity, so how could they have it now? It could have easily been an opportunity for and if they had any opportunity, it doesn't mean that they had any type of any type of salvation at the end, like the brother used Balaam or the Moabite king. Balak, yeah.
Balaam, Moabite king. Balak, the one that he gave the prophecy. Yeah, or the prophecy.
Yeah,
the curse of Israel.
Yeah.
But so. Yeah,
that was it on that one, right?
I missed one more verse.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Read that one more verse.
Yeah. It says, verse 71 of 1 Ezra 5, it says, "We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord of Israel,
yep.
according as Cyrus, the king of the Persians, hath commanded us."
Yep.
She gave it that decree.
Yep.
That king Cyrus, all right, which we was under the Assyrians.
Yep.
All right, so you could precept that with the Ezra 5 and 13. But in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Babylon, the same King Cyrus made a decree or order to build this house of the Lord.
Yep.
All right. Just going into the history. Yeah. So and like I said, we was going a little bit into the whole the sifting, which that go into like discerning, which go into the cut or to separate. Which when you look into that word for discerning. Obviously the this goes into what? Off our way. Okay, this, all right? And discerner goes into distinguish or separate or sift from the root grade, which means to sift, right? Which we agitate in what we do. The Lord doing it through the word, all right? Going out, okay? If people come up, hey, they get offended by certain things, they go out, all right?
Look, this whole thing's about the elect, man.
Yep.
That's the thing. This thing's about the elect. Like the brothers are saying, we try the spirit by the spirit.
Oh yes.
We don't get caught up in the appearance because at the end of the day, it's about that man's faith. Because he's got to be the one to work out his own salvation with fear and trembling. Philippians 2:12.
You have Revelation
2. So it's really on that man or woman to seek out their salvation once they hear the word.
Yeah,
it's not our job to determine who the elect or you or he. That's not what we out here to do. We out here to present the word as it's supposed to be, and then it's on them to seek it or not. Because there is going to be a great divide. That's why the angels are right. They're the reapers, and they're going to come back, right? The world, when you go into the parable, is the field, and he's going to divide the wheat from the tares, the sheep from the goats. You saying something, brother?
Yeah, instead of Revelation 22. But I want you to read Revelation. Revelation 22, verse 16. I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
There you go. Like the brother said, that when you look reading, what were you reading, Numbers?
Yeah, I was reading Numbers 24.
Yep, that star is talking about Yahushua.
Yeah.
Right, you have Isaiah the 11th chapter. They said a rod and root shall come out of Jesse. There's all these precepts on Yahushua and what he's coming to do. All these prophets, I should say, about Yahushua and what he's coming to do. And it's very clear on who that star and who that rod that coming out of Jesse is coming to do, and it's coming to redeem Israel. All right?
That's right.
Right. Ain't going to smite the corners of Moab.
Yep.
Beat the shit out of the Edomites.
Yep.
Possession.
Yeah. Isaiah the 11th chapter said we're going to fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines.
Yep.
We actually might as well get Isaiah. Give me Isaiah 11
And
first
if the
chapter.
Edomites are done away with, are they burning in hell? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
According to the Christian doctrine.
Right. Yeah, because
Are all the Edomites burning in hell?
Right, and that's the other thing. When you ask yourself about the whole hell doctrine, you'd have to ask yourself, okay, all the nations of people in the Old Testament, are they in hell?
Yeah.
And if they are in hell, so they never had a place. So they're in hell, burning forever and ever. But now there's a New Testament where so-called Jesus Christ came. So now people aren't going to go to. Some people are going to go to hell, and some people aren't going to go to hell.
Maybe it'd be purgatory or something.
Or did hell start after the fact? Was hell something
no
that just kind of
Yeah,
happened?
there should be questions you ask a
Yeah.
Christian. Questions a Christian can't answer.
Right.
You're really on that.
Yeah,
Listen, hell doctrines and prophecies. Can a Christian answer this?
Right. You got a precept? Go ahead, go with that.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence.
Yep. Read that first part again, Baksha.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed,
Yep, always obeyed. Yep, go ahead.
not as in my presence only,
Yep.
but now much more in my absence.
Right, go ahead.
Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Right, so the absence of the prophets of old and the absence of Yahweh Shai, we're still obeying the Most High, right? Go ahead, read that precept again. The last part.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence.
Yep.
Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? And that fear and trembling is coming from the Most High, man. And we know that salvation, that walk of salvation is a very straight and narrow road. Was that? It's a tightrope, yeah. Yep. So we got to do it with fear and trembling, man. And Esdras went into that, about basically it's like a kingdom that's in the wide, but on your left is fire,
water on the other
and
side.
a deep water on the other side, And the only way to get to that kingdom is to pass through that, that tight rope.
Because there's only one way. Ultimately, that's Yahweh Shai.
Yep. And we're doing it in the absence of of Yahweh Shai, and we don't have. Because like nowadays, these Jakes out here, they want Yahweh Shai to come down again and basically teach everybody to believe. But we ain't in the time of that no more. We're in a time of strict faith, that we are straightly basing all our belief on Yahweh Shai and faith, on the things that can't be seen, on the physical, right? Did it on that?
No, we measure everything to the spiritual. That's what's that mean? We measure everything to the prophecies that are written about.
Yep.
Remember, Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy.
Right.
So we see what's going on in the scriptures, and we align it ultimately with the events that are going on, but it's through faith first. Because remember, you got to believe in what the scriptures are saying before you actually seen it manifest itself in the physical. Like America's destruction. You had to already have the faith that, America's going to be destroyed, and now we're seeing its final days. Right? We're seeing that countdown to its destruction with the different famines and pestilence and wars and rumor of wars and different tension with the nations and the different economic straits that are currently progressing, all right, in America, and not just America, but the global economy. Okay? A lot of nations are in a whole lot of debt. Okay? Even China. Okay? A lot of people over there in China feeling the economic strain of debt, not being able to pay for their housing, all right, and afford certain things. Because it's a global reset. So they're collapsing everything. All right? Essentially. Setting up that new digital system. Right? Which eventually is going to be the MLTB. All right? That's how everything is going to be connected through Revelation, the 13th chapter. What we got?
Of the strike precept in Esdras.
Go ahead. And then you got the Isaiah 11, right? All right, you come with that, and I'll bring it.
Found this 2nd Esdras 7 and 3. And I said, speak on my power. Then he said unto me, the sea is set in a wide place.
Yep.
that it might be deep and great. But
Actually, let me see. Where's you start at?
I can't probably get you.
Yeah, it's fine. You start. Yeah.
Gone. It says the sea is set in a wide place that it might be deep and great, but put the case and the entrance where narrow and like a river.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. It's like they give it similar to like sea is very great, very open, but shorten it almost smaller, like a little river, right? Go ahead.
Who then could go into the sea and look upon it to rule it if he went not through the narrow? How
Right.
could he?
Yep. So like if you know anything about ships, a lot of times your ships got to go through the river to get to the big sea, right? All rivers lead to big bodies of ocean, right? So in order to get to the ocean, in order to get that wide, you have to go through the river. You gotta go through those little narrow passageways, right?
How could he not come into the broad?
Right.
There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field,
Yep.
and is full of all good things.
Yep. And this is basically like the kingdom of heaven, right? Go ahead.
The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall,
Yep.
like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
Right. So you gotta put that. You gotta make the visual for that, man. Think of a precious kingdom, right? And you want to go to that precious kingdom, and the only way through it. Fucking song. This is fucking. I'm just a teenage dirtbag.
Yeah.
He's fucking. Yo, he's all fucking.
Weezer or something?
Yeah.
That's not weird.
Yeah, it's not was. It's not
It's
was.
an
No.
old 90s
Yeah.
song.
But she covering it. But anyway, slug, yeah. But yeah, so you gotta put it in. You gotta make the visual to it. So like the same way the city is like the kingdom, man. And the kingdom is a beautiful city. In order to get to that, you have to go through that narrow road. Just imagine walking a narrow road, and imagine being really high and elevated. And go ahead.
And one only path between them both.
Yep.
Even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Right. So me and this brother, we couldn't even walk. I had to say, you go first, brother, because we ain't gonna be able to walk together. That's why the brother brought out about basically seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. A lot of times, like yes, we walk together as a group, but also just walking in ways alone, right? You gotta walk in your salvation alone, because I can't get this brother saved any more than he can,
Yeah, you can't ride no brother's coattails.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So I mean, obviously we all work in tandem with each other. We're all with each other. We're always helping each other out. But
That's
brothers,
part of being a body.
yeah, exactly. We're
So
part
in
of the
that
body.
regard, in that regard, that's not
Yep. But at the end of the day, I can't, like, if this brother's going off, I ain't gonna go off with him because I feel for this brother. Like, no, I gotta let this brother go, man. I gotta seek to my salvation.
You gotta
I'll help
develop
this
a
brother if I can.
relationship with the Lord.
Exactly. Yep. So, anyways, Sluggy, go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 9.
Remember, it said that there's only one way to get there.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
That's Yahushua.
Yep. One way. There ain't no shortcuts. There ain't no.
He said
There ain't
he
no.
was the way,
Yep.
the truth, and the life. Okay?
Yep.
The way, the truth, and the life. Okay?
Yep. And then the thing is like, a lot of people, a lot of Jake, they come to the one path, and that path to the city, they see a path to the left all the way off into some darkness, and they walk that path thinking they could probably come back to the city later on. But like, look,
Well, there's no detour.
yeah, there's no detour. You can't say, I'll come back to this when I'm ready. Let me just walk this darkness real quick. You're gonna get swallowed up in that darkness,
Or do it your own way.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't do it like if you're faced with deep water on one side and fire on one side, you can't say I'm gonna make up my own rules.
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up partaking of that destruction. That's what happens.
Exactly. This was a beautiful analogy that the angel gave to Esdras to understand the
And
way the
that
kingdom is.
proves that salvation isn't for everybody.
Yep.
Because if
That-
only one can go in at a time, that
Yeah.
means that it's a very small
Right.
Opportunity. Well, hey,
Right.
look, that's why the couple or the precept that you couple with that scripture is that wide is the gate that leadeth on the brother God. Let you read it.
Check it out. Matthew 7, verse 13.
Go ahead.
Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Yep.
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to
I
destruction.
mean,
There
there's
you go.
going to be a lot more people destroyed than there's going to be saved on this side. And the only ones that are going to be saved is the elect of the nation of Israel. All right? Beginning with the Lord's men. Okay? Because we're that government body. Lord's will, we those men. All right? Go ahead.
And many there be which go thereat, verse 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Few there be that find it. Okay? Few there be. And the few is representative of the election, the remnant. Okay? A position of difficulty. Because remember, we're surrounded, we constantly at battle, at war, spiritually. There's everything in this society that's trying to tear you down, drag you through the mud, kick you while you're already down, and try to keep you there. Remember, it is written of Satan that as a roaring lion, he seeketh whom he may be able to devour. And that's this world, Satan being the adversary. Okay, there's wickedness going on in high places. You know, they're constantly putting out enchantments. They're constantly trying to charm our people. They're inundating our people with their experimental drugs. Okay, with hip hop, black culture. All right. And all the tribes are under that left-handed vibration right now. Okay, that's why a lot of people are going to be destroyed because they're following, okay, after the wrong way, after the wrong beliefs. The things that they put their trust and hope in is ultimately going to fail them because they didn't go the right way when correction was given. Which remember, there's no excuse in Israel. There's no excuse because the word has gone out forth. As a matter of fact, the truth has spread throughout the globe.
If I could say something too, because I kind of want to go back to what these brothers were kind of going into when I came in, when I showed up. They were talking about walking after the lust, right? And the thing is, the kingdom, this kingdom now, they basically tell you to walk after the flesh. They basically say it's okay as long as you feel it, you can do it. So we got to basically teach our people to break out of that habit, out of that mindset that just because it feels right, don't mean it is right. Just because because like our people are just basically animals at this point. They're just doing whatever their body wants to do, right? So they have to put themselves in check. But the thing is, this kingdom is set up in that lust and in that vanity, So they have to come out of that mindset,
This world is geared to pleasing the appetites of the flesh.
Exactly.
That's what makes it so difficult because we are always at variance. With the conditions of the world and yourself. You're always at variance because you're always fighting against that appetite of the flesh. So it takes a great deal of discipline. Discipline which only can be built upon the spirit of our Heavenly Father because only through Him do we have the strength to endure it.
And
to remain.
And when you try to put your appetite, those desires, down, the world will look at you and be like, oh, you know what, like, why are you doing that? And they're like, oh, I don't eat it because, like, oh, that's all old stuff. Like, basically, you could do that, or then they try to use the angle like, oh, the commandments are done away with. They try to come to that angle.
We're in 2022.
Yeah, we're in 2022. Like, come on, like, if everyone's gay now, like, what's the problem? What are you, homophobe? Like Esau and these like, at all angles will try to come at you and try to make it seem like you're the one going off because you're trying to put your lust and all those bullshit, and all that bullshit, vanity and off that to the side. Like, you don't want to be fucking bothered with all that evil, man.
You just can't not like pork.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. To you shaming them. They shame you basically.
Yep. And they do that, man.
Those are terms that the damn devil made up. Oh, you're this phobe, you're that phobe.
Yep.
Nobody afraid of no damn homosexual. Ain't nobody afraid of no damn trans.
Yep.
All right, it's a damn abomination. It's a detestable thing.
Yep.
Right?
But
it's worthy of shame and disgrace.
Exactly.
That's what a detestable thing is.
Yep.
Worthy of shame and disgrace.
Precept.
And that's this whole kingdom, brothers. This whole kingdom is one big damn disgrace.
Yep. What do you say? A cesspool?
A cesspool of abomination. Right. Go ahead, brother.
Matthew 22, verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Right.
Because the Lord created a few special spirits called the elect that can not only find the straight gate, but go through it. And anybody else is fitted for destruction.
Right. The thing is, like, you ever like look down a long street? You look down a long street and you don't really know where the end is, and you start walking it. You start to think like goddamn, like you look back and you realize how far you walked. But like, how the fuck did I get to the fucking end yet? And you would be like thinking like that, and you just keep walking. I know, like, I used to walk to school, and there'd be like some roads that you'd be like, some streets you'd be walking, like, damn, like, it's already been like fucking 15 minutes. I didn't get to the end of the block yet. But the thing is like that's how this kingdom is, right? We don't know when the end. We don't know we're gonna hit that finish line. We don't know when we get to see. We just see it from a distance. And when you start walking, you might realize like, oh, man, it's kind of a long journey. But you got to be able to endure that long journey. So some people get weak and lose the faith and just say, you know what, like, should I walk this far? But you know what, it's not even worth it to keep walking.
That's offense.
Yep.
They get offended. By and by, they are offended. That's usually what does it. They don't like that they have to deal with discomfort before they can enter into the kingdom of heaven and enter into that eternal rest. Because there's an eternal rest coming. They want that rest now, but they don't realize that you're compromising what's to come if you sell yourself short for the pleasures of this world, which is only but for a moment.
Yep.
It's temporary.
Exactly.
So,
you got
those
more
are precepts, I
Yeah,
guess.
we run to that word temporary. Season for a time. Do we ever read that word?
temporal.
Right?
Yeah, for
Season for a time.
All right, last precepts. Did someone still have Isaiah 11 for me? Yeah. We'll blow through that real quick. Anybody? Any last precepts?
2 Corinthians 7.
All right, this brother said he had a precept he'd like to read real quick.
Go.
This is 1 John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
It's that simple, straight to the point, man. And the world will teach you to lust after the flesh, and that's okay to lust after the flesh. And they use all these, they use media, they use influencers to basically worship that lust of the flesh and lust after the world. So the Father, the Most High, ain't going to be with you if you seek after the world.
Yeah, that's why they constantly advertise it to you.
Yep. You got that precept? Sorry, you got that precept?
Yeah.
And then Isaiah 11. Start at 1, and then we'll jump to. Go ahead, read that.
This 2 Corinthians 7 and 1, having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of the Most High.
So you break that down.
Yeah, so come, man. That's what we're supposed to do. Having these promises, that the Lord promised for His elect, for His saints. We're supposed to, if you want to be a part, of that number, you're supposed to do, the works that the elect will do, which is what cleansing themselves and their spirits, and the from all the uncleanliness. That's what the Lord calls you to. That's what the Lord calls you to do. Yeah, and then it says perfecting holiness in the fear of the Most High.
Oh yeah, that's funny because that precept basically kind of is exactly what we were saying before about trying to perfect, the law, perfecting the holiness in the Most High, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So it says perfecting holiness in the fear of the Most High.
In the fear that they're keeping the commandments, right? So that's all that we were talking about earlier. So you can break that down.
Yeah. So Khan, that's what you're supposed to do. Perfect yourself in the fear of the Most High. So basically, if you're gonna fear the Most High, man, then you're gonna be keeping His commandments, just like the brother said. It says in John 14 and 15, if you love me, keep my commandments.
Yep, that's that simple.
Yeah, you meditate on the judgment that the Lord is issuing for it too. That'll keep you in line. You see things happening to certain guys that maybe once been with us. They are now examples of what not to do.
Yep.
Right. That's a very serious, set of circumstances that you should, diligently consider.
Right.
Not to mention all the different, like I said, judgment that the Lord is issuing forth every day. The wrath of the Most High is extremely elevated right now, so you want to continue to be on the Lord's good side. Go ahead, man.
Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Yep. Yeah, we kept saying it earlier. That's a precept right there to back it up. Go ahead. Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Right, and the fear of the Lord is keeping those commandments. We should also say that. Go ahead.
And the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
Yep, the knowledge of the holy is understanding. And it seriously says to get wisdom, and with all that getting, get understanding. And to get that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you got to fear the Lord.
And that's a process.
Yep.
When you fear the Lord, or you begin to fear the Lord, that means you submit yourself unto His will. All right, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. And you understand that there's judgment or repercussions for your actions.
Yep.
In this life, it's do as thou wilt, fear no consequence.
Yeah. You can literally do whatever you want and receive you can do literally evil in the sight of the Lord and receive no consequence in that time. Like Scripture says, it sins against the evil work is not executed speedily, like it. But they feel like so since they ain't get nothing, no punishment for it, that they continue to do it. Yeah, it's deferred. It's like
No, you're good because that's how you once used to live.
Yep.
You're not really focusing too much on the end of something, just more in the moment. So
Exactly. Yep.
whatever you're trying to feel in that moment, that's what you're concerned with. Not really, for a lot of us at least, we're not really looking at the long term, the long road.
Right.
What's up ahead?
Right.
Because this society teaches you to be comfortable. Well, a lot of times we become complacent. So coming into the faith and hearing these certain things, America's gonna be destroyed, and the Lord gonna kill you if you don't get right. When you hear those things, it's supposed to bring about that fear inside of you, which ends up being the beginning of your faith. Because faith cometh by hearing. You gotta hear these things first, and then lay them to mind, and then that begins your walk, building that relationship, right? From fear, wisdom. Oh man, I don't want to do that because that's going to lead me down a path of destruction. Or I need to do this because it's going to lead me to that path of eternal life. From there, you turn that into knowledge, which then therefore becomes understanding once you get to a certain level. Experience. It's all, progression, forward progression. Brothers were going into that earlier. We're looking to move ahead.
So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 18. It says the fear of the Lord is the first step.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead.
No, it's a precept. It's beautiful. He had the same precept.
Oh, Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 18. It says the fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of Him.
Damn, that's it. You don't even gotta say anything else after that. Read that again.
Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 18, it says, the fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of Him, and wisdom obtaineth His love.
Yep.
Verse 19, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life.
The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord. Our people do not have the knowledge of the commandments. They might at best know the 10 commandments. At best, they might know like 3 out of the 10 of the 10 commandments. But the commandments are way more than just the 10 commandments. But go ahead, read that again.
Well, hey, they don't do the first one. If they knew 3 and at least kept 3, they'd be better off than most.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
But I bet you they know the 10 crack commandments.
And plus the first verse the brother just read, it says the fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of Him. Because you got a lot of people saying, oh, I'm accepted of, Jesus Christ. Nah, man, if you want to be accepted of the Lord, you got to fear Him. Yep. And if you're going to fear Him, you're going to be keeping His commandments.
Yeah. You need to accept Jesus Christ in your heart. Well, guess what? He need to accept your ass, all right?
It said about you abiding the Lord's love. You understand that love, according to the scriptures, is keeping the commandments.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Listen. Acceptance works on both sides, all right? You can't just acclaim acceptance of so-called Jesus Christ, all right? I mean, you can accept the damn Esau.
If you love something, you'll be obedient to it.
Yep, that's right.
Like if your woman love you, right? She's gonna be obedient. Then she's gonna listen to what you say. She's gonna carry out.
You don't gotta worry about Isaiah 11.
We the Most High's
You don't gotta worry about that.
So that means we gotta adhere to His way and carry it out, right? And then demonstrate those examples for the rest of those who may come and believe as well, which are Israelites.
That's
okay?
right.
So,
that's a beautiful point. You got more to that? If not, just read that again.
I'll
read it again.
I'll read it again from the top.
No, the second verse.
Yeah. So this is Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 19. This is the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life.
Right, the knowledge of the commandments, right? So once you understand the commandments, you understand that you got to keep them. It's that start to life. Go ahead.
And it says, and they that do things that please Him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality.
Right. So it's the fruit of immortality. Everything we do it to please Yahweh Shai, man. We don't do it to please ourselves. If we're out here to please ourselves, we wouldn't be following the commandments, right? We submit ourselves and our wants and our desires to Yahweh Shai and follow His commandments. Right. He said don't do it, we don't do it. We don't have to ask no questions, all right? It's just that simple.
Yeah, remember, what we do that pleases the Lord actually satisfies our soul anyway.
Exactly,
so we're a benefactor
right,
of being obedient to the Lord.
Right, as
immortality. Immortality begins here first, the mind, brothers. Mm-hmm. Immortality begins with the mind.
Yep.
With this truth, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Right.
Then it carries over, it translates once we ultimately come into that perfection when we receive those new bodies.
Yep.
Okay?
Fine.
But that immortality begins with the mind.
Yep. And like you were saying, like as a good servant wants to please, you know, their master, right? They want to make sure that they do whatever their master does. That's a good servant, right? A righteous servant was going to seek to do what is favorable to his master's eyes, right? So the same, like you said, the same thing. It's favorable for us to please Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, man. It pleases us to be able to walk as a good servant, and we do know that there's a reward for that, you know. But ultimately, we don't know if we're going to see the reward or not. We just do it because we know we should, right? As we try to attain that salvation.
Well, wait, look, we can't say if we're for sure the elect, but we know that there is a reward coming to the elect, whoever they may be. That's not going to fail.
That's true. That's
not going to fail.
Yep. There's definitely a reward coming.
You know, but we got to do our part in enduring. That's the thing. And that part is really up to the mercy to heaven of the Heavenly Father.
Right.
Okay? All right, so.
Got one more verse on that.
All right. Brother, it looks like you're getting ready to pull some.
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Verse 20 says, "The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law."
Damn.
And
yeah, read that again. Read that again.
Yeah, this is Ecclesiasticus 19,
Remember, there's
verse
a law
20.
of faith.
Yep.
There's a law of faith. Okay? And that's what we're accomplishing right now, that law of faith.
Yep.
This Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 20. It says, "The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law, and the knowledge of his omnipotency."
The fear of the Lord is all wisdom. Go ahead, read that again. Read nice and slow.
Yeah,
Nice and
all
slow and loud. Because it's basically this is like the kind of basically went on. This is like validates, this scripture alone validates everything that we were saying in this entire lesson, in this entire street speaking. Almost a street sweep.
Yeah, it said, okay, so this is Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 20. It says, "The fear of the Lord, is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance,
and in all wisdom is the performance
of
right?
the law,
performing the law. Go ahead.
Right. And the knowledge of his omnipotency."
And the knowledge of his omnipotency. Hey, and we know, and that's it. That's how we know, and that's how we like basically understand that he is omnipotent. He's all around. We can't hide nothing from the Most High.
Omnipotent. Yeah. Omnipotent means all powerful.
Okay. Yep.
Omnipresent means all around.
Okay. There you go. Well, so, what does that say?
Omnipotency.
Omnipotency. So all powerful, right? Yeah. But even still, like the brothers, right? The water for correcting me. But the Most High is also omnipresent, and that's why Scriptures say that his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. You can't hide nothing from the Lord. So once you understand that, once you understand how powerful the Lord is, that He's all powerful and He's all knowing, you display that by following His commandments, because you know that like, damn, I can't hide behind a tree and try to do some wicked shit, because the Lord's gonna fucking smite me down, man.
That's the difference you gotta understand. If breaking the commandments, breaking the commandments and adding sin unto sin, which is iniquity, leads unto the ways of death.
Yep.
Then keeping the law, right? What's the opposite?
The opposite, yeah.
Leads unto life and life more abundantly.
Life eternal.
Life eternal. Eventually, it's going to be in us, and we're going to have that immortality. Got to get these new bodies first. But the more we keep the law, all right, the more we are basically bringing forth a better quality of life and worship. Okay.
Yep.
So, like again, the opposite of not keeping the law leads to death. So, keeping the law adds on to life. As a matter of fact, that is Ecclesiastes, I think Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, where it says, keeping the commandments will add on to thy life days.
Yep.
Which proves that keeping the commandments promotes life and life more abundantly.
Yep. I quoted it earlier, but I didn't bring it out.
It promotes life among the trees. It promotes life amongst
wildlife,
the fowls,
yep.
the animals. It promotes life amongst the world, the nations, the Israelites. Because remember, the nations are going to be bound to keep the laws. So they're going to be living a better quality of life. That's why Proverbs 29 chapter tells you that when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And that's what the law is going to do. But it's going to work for those in whom it was intended for first, which is the Israelites, and we're going to have ultimate perfection that other nations are not going to have that. Where we're going to have that immortality. Let the brother finish this, Baba Bashar.
Yeah, just one more. I'm going to just jump down to the point.
All right.
Verse. So this is Ecclesiasticus 19, verse 24. It says, "He that hath small understanding and feareth Yahweh is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High."
There it is. There is.
It don't make sense if you know the law. Transgress means to go beyond the bounds.
Yep.
Trans across. So it's like if you have a line, you draw a line, and somebody step over it, they're out of bounds or they're beyond the limit. Right? Well, transgress too. Yep. To be beyond the limit.
Right.
So what happens? You playing a sport and you end up going out of bounds. It's usually a penalty.
That's a penalty. Yep. Yeah.
No flag on the play, whatever. Okay. So it don't profit you to have all that wisdom, but you don't utilize it or apply it.
Yeah, and then it's like them, you know, like these guys who fell out, man. You know what I'm saying? Now the person who's only been here for, you know, a couple of years is now better than you. Even though, regardless if you have, 15 years before you fell out?
Yeah.
Because, all that you've done, like, all the righteousness you've done, the Lord's going to forget it now, you know?
His labor was in vain.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's coming from a young man in the spirit right there.
Exactly. Yep.
Hey, but
That's it on that.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, just become that. We don't. You have it. That precept, the Proverbs.
The Proverbs, yeah.
Just bring it up real quick. We'll end on that. Call it a day. I loosely quoted it earlier. You just quoted it a little bit, so might as well just end it on that. You know, bring the point home, and I'll close on that.
All right. So
I won't even break it down.
Start from like the top.
you said Proverbs 3?
3 verse 1.
All right. Proverbs 3:1. It says, "My son, forget not." All right, my law.
Forget not the law. Yep.
Yeah,
Which
not,
apparently everyone's trying to put basically trying to tell you to forget it. Like, don't worry about it. Just forget it. Like, it's old. It's in the past.
Yeah,
And that's what they try to do. They try to rewrite the way it's, you know.
Yeah.
Rewrite.
What person, was it Obama? He said the Bible is an old book or some shit.
Oh shit.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know the Pope said who. The Pope.
That's an outdated book.
The Pope said, "Who am I to judge?" I know he said that. But
He said the Defense Department wouldn't last against Matthew the 5th chapter, or the 6th chapter, the Beatitudes.
Right.
Blessed is he that kept saying blessed, and y'all try blessed.
Yeah, right.
That. He said the Defense Department wouldn't last against that chapter.
Oh, okay.
Being a smart ass, like it's too kind and caring.
Right.
The Defense Department couldn't defend against it.
someone did say what you said though about the Bible being an old book. It says,
I believe he made that statement also.
Bush said that about the Constitution.
Well, I know that, but there was a separate statement made where he said that's an old book. Or it's an outdated book. You go look it up. Look it up. Obama says the Bible's an outdated book. I'm sure we'll get something like that. But anyway, the point is that goes to show you the current rulership right now.
well, Obama was the one that legalized all. You know,
There you go.
So it would make sense that he would make a statement like that because first off, it wouldn't like you know.
Right.
Well, by him saying, he's saying that the Bible is not something that we should look to.
It's
as
not
for
valid.
guidance.
Right, it's not valid. He's basically saying it's invalid. And that's why the scriptures say to not worry about the incredulity. Right. Of those that trouble you.
Yeah.
The lack of unbelief or the lack of, trying to discredit the scriptures.
There's an Eva there, brother did a lesson on it where she said, Christ died for your sins, so you're just free to sin. You know what I'm saying?
All right, go ahead and read that. Because we're just making a point in how the world promotes evil, wickedness. They're all anti-Messiahs, antichrist. Like the apostle always said, there's more than one antichrist, there is. Look at society. They all fall under that banner of the Bible and old book. Or we don't got to follow that. Whether you're a so-called Christian or not. They're on the same level of a damn atheist in their understanding.
Is that what you're looking for?
Let's see. Who said this?
Barack Obama.
Okay. It says, in our house, the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita sat on the shelf alongside books of Greek and Norse and African mythology. Some along those lines. Yeah. I know what he's getting at, but yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, I got it. Description. It says, this him is speaking in June 2006.
Right.
It says. Yeah, it says
yeah, he got it.
Yeah, I got the description. It says.
If he made that statement, that means he doubled down on it.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It says Obama in the speech. Obama suggested that would be impractical to govern based solely on the word of the Bible, noting that some passages suggest slavery, which is permissible, and eating shellfish is disgraceful. Which passages of scripture should guide our public policy? Obama asked in the speech. Yeah, and then he basically goes on to say, about talking about slavery and eating abomination.
But then he's swearing on the Bible though.
Right, right.
He's a complete hypocrite.
That's right, that's right. All right, brother, go ahead.
Oh, so this is Proverbs chapter 3,
This
verse.
is why niggas all fucked up in their head, because the leaders, okay, whether they're Christian leaders, political leaders, are all leading them astray. That's why right now Jake voted Democrat, but now they crying Republican. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Say
so
both of
this is Proverbs 3:1. My son, forget not my law, right? Which, forget, go back to shakat, which goes into the cease from to care. All right, we're supposed to actually care for the keeping of the law, all right? Well, the Lord gave it to us. If we forget it and cease to care, obviously, there's going to be us going, degenerating from our path and way. But let thine heart or mind keep my commandments, for length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee.
That's it.
Precept. Yep. Proverbs 4 and verse, that'll be verse 22, right? Talking about wisdom. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to their flesh.
Yep.
All right? So this is actually a healing, all right, unto us, all right? Because we're coming out of that what? That dead estate, and now we're what? Them dry bones that's being revived back to life, all right? Being made whole, getting the sinews back on us and such, getting our nationality, all right? So, that's the help, the healing through Yahweh Shai the physician,
That's it.
Yes.
So with that, we're going to close. We want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadosh.
All right, double honors unto our apostles and as a great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Wa Abba Baba.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.